So am I an alcoholic? We'll get right to that now. Okay, so welcome back to Nomadic Recovery, and today we got kind of a different video, although probably a long time coming. One of the questions I get on the channel occasionally is, how come you were drinking in that one video on the trail that one time you were hiking?
Punch. This is some white lightning with a fruit punch mix.
And it tastes phenomenal.
That's fucking great,
I'm
right?
scared of it because it tastes so good.
We already finished the Knob Creek, which is a good old Kentucky straight
yeah,
bourbon.
that's a good stuff
it's
right
all
there.
And the reason they asked that is because the name of the channel is Nomadic Recovery. And, you know, I think some people find my channel searching for the word recovery on YouTube, brings them to the channel, and they're thinking it's going to be about alcohol or drug addiction recovery. And so the question is, hey man, I've had this implied, like, you're not being honest here, you're supposed to be in recovery, why were you drinking beer on the trail that one time or whatever? So my answer has been in the comments, well, Nomadic Recovery is not specifically about alcohol or drug recovery. Okay, it's not an AA type channel. It's about recovering from life, recovering from stress. Really, it's about reconnecting with nature to fill up your spiritual hole in your heart and get into our natural environment to see some beautiful things. And for me, that recharges my soul. But it is, so I've kind of put it that way up until now. Well, I had something happen this last week that made me really think, okay, I've never denied that I have an issue with alcohol. That is part of the reason of the name, recovery. Okay, so those people are correct. It's like, okay, are you in recovery or are you not in recovery? Well, I haven't ever said I'm in recovery, right? And I haven't focused on, actually, other than the introduction, I don't think I've ever even spoke about alcoholism and my story with it, my family's issues, any of that, right? Doesn't mean I wouldn't, doesn't mean I don't want to. It's been more focused on hiking and, you know, seeing the different places of the country and all that. Some music videos. But last weekend, here's what happened. Last weekend I had an episode. I'm just going to call it an episode. Let me back up a little bit. And there'll be more videos about this now, and that's part of what I'm talking about today. I'm changing the direction, or I'm opening up the channel to other directions, more in that direction of actual alcohol recovery. Because I had a serious, I don't know, episode this week that involved alcohol and caused some problems. So to back up a little bit, without going into a lot of detail, years ago, 15 years ago maybe, I had some serious mental health issues, had a nervous breakdown, and a psychotic break, lost my mind, had to get some serious, medical and psychological help. This came from a whole bunch of issues from childhood and other things. Like I said, I won't go into that here, but I popped, okay, basically destroyed a lot. My life just blew up, and it took me many years, a decade, to get out of that, recover, get my brain back, get my life back. And part of that getting that back was rediscovering how much I missed the woods, I missed nature, and realizing how important that was for me to not sit in a spot and spin in a circle and let life and the world and bills and stress and politics and all these things destroy me from within. I had to learn how to process the things that we all kind of have to learn to process. And part of that for me was getting nomadic, getting on the road, traveling, living out of my RV, hiking, all the things that I've built this channel for. Part of it also was, hey, I got to get myself figured out I'm drinking too much. And at the time, for decades, I was working as a full-time working musician in bars every night, and drinking too much, and dangerous activities, and just killing myself over time, and realized, okay, if I don't get out of here, I will be dead. And I've had many friends that have died simply doing the same thing that I was doing, working full time on the music scene in the place I live. And I didn't want to do that. I have kids. I love my kids. I have friends. I have no reason to want to die, right? But it was getting me by the neck, and I had to get out of that environment where alcohol was so easy to have, free. Every night it was free. Hey Sean, what's up, bro? And you get your, set up your gear, you plug in your guitar, you start playing beer, you know, every night. And if I didn't buy it myself, I was given it by somebody. So that's a pretty hard situation. Not impossible, but hard to become sober in, right? To get out of that. It's just a cycle. So thus, you know, I made a lot of changes, and like I said, it took many years, gradually working hard on myself, working hard on my life, trying to figure out, okay, I need to get healthier. What do I need to do? How do I get out of this? Some of that was mental health issues of depression and just probably, you know, bipolar stuff. It's never been addressed, but just stuff. Went through a lot of different therapies and counselings and worked on myself, read a lot of books, did a lot of exercise, you know, all the things that I think are helpful, but never quite, or even sometimes even tried to quit drinking completely. Even though I got out of the scene, you still are, you know, alcohol is available. So I've never said I'm completely sober. I'm done with that. 10 years sober. Here's my chip from AA or nothing like that. Never been able to accomplish that, and never quite committed to accomplishing that either, I guess. But so the focus, just to finish, the focus of the channel wasn't to be just about that. This isn't Sean's alcoholic journey, okay? I wanted it to be more, and just because that's just one part of me. That's just one part of my life. It's just one reason that I think being nomadic is so cool. It's just one thing I'm recovering from, but it's always been there, hanging on, never lets you go. Well, last week I had a reoccurrence of a breakdown, not as bad as I did years ago, but it really came out of nowhere, and this really surprised me. I'm under a lot of stress right now out of work and things, but I was like, so weird. So I went to my brother's house and drank a little too much. I did drink too much, but not more than I drank at other times, and I've never had this happen to me, except for once years ago. And I just snapped. I went into some kind of event and lost my mind, and just, you know, kind of blacked out from just the emotional feelings and stuff that was coming out, and ended up running down the road in the rain, in the middle of a rainstorm, drunk, and fell on the road. I tripped and fell, and I broke my wrist. And I broke my wrist in 2 places, pretty bad. In fact, I was so out of it that I kind of didn't feel it. I just shredded my knees and was bleeding, broke my wrist. And part of me that was still kind of together said, I need to get to safety. I need to go back to my brother's house. I don't even know why I was running. Just one of those crazy events. And honestly, it really was not anticipated. I wasn't feeling depressed. It was just bizarre. Something I've got to really figure out, you know, what that was about. That's a whole separate issue. But what probably brought it about, or allowed it to fire off, was drinking. I'm sure of it. I think I was having a little argument with my brother about something, and we had a great visit otherwise. But something just clicks, and when you're drunk and you just don't have control of your emotions or whatever, it just went to a place, and then something took over, and man, I ended up breaking my wrist. So I had to go to the hospital. Get to the hospital, had to go to an orthopedic the next day, and he's like, oh, you didn't just break your wrist, you broke your wrist. So now you gotta have surgery. So I had surgery on Monday, and all of a sudden, a regular week that was kind of regular went from, well, you're not gonna be able to work for 8 weeks, possibly months. And I had been waiting on work because I needed it so bad. So down at the end, I'm still waiting for work, and as soon as I broke my wrist, all these deployments start coming in. I can't take any of them because I can't put a ladder on a roof. I can't climb on a roof like this. So everything started just like in 24 hours falling apart. I was like, what the hell happened? And the only thing I can really put my finger on for sure is, you know, drinking. I shouldn't have been drinking like that. So it's a true AA moment, as they call it. I've had many of those in my life, and I've stopped drinking many times, and or cut back or whatever. This time I was like, all right, this is stupid, because this is not only I wasn't feeling depressed, I wasn't playing in the bars, it's just what caused that? Alcohol. It's always got something to do with alcohol that causes a financial, emotional, physical problem. So it made me start thinking about the channel and realizing that, serendipitously, I have a channel here that is called Nomadic Recovery. That alcohol drug thing is kind of in the background of who I am. It's I'm never hidden from that. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not embarrassed of that. Generally speaking, I'm a normal person, but I have issues with alcohol, and it's been that way since almost childhood. It goes back both sides of my family for generations. Lots of stuff to talk about there, but I didn't want this to be about just that. Well, now I'm realizing that it needs to be more about that, because it's happened to me that my life has now turned a little bit of a corner, and I've realized, okay, I need to focus on getting sober and getting alcohol completely, not just almost there, but completely out of my life. Because even a random, binge day at your brother's pool can turn into something that seriously affects your life. It could have been worse, it could, I guess, run out in front of traffic or something. Who knows? But I kind of think I'm lucky. Now, the bad part about it is this is going to affect probably my guitar playing, which means I might have just ruined the rest of my life doing what I am put on this planet to do, and that's play music. I mean, that sounds arrogant, but that's the best thing I know how to do. It's my passion. It's what I've got 40 plus years since childhood invested in, training and playing. And so doctor's like, it's probably not going to hurt you, but so we won't know. We just won't know. And that would be a sad thing to lose that over one day's stupid drinking over nothing, So I just went, it's time to bring in some additional content to this channel and just kind of open it up to what it really sounds like anyway, which is it's about being nomadic. It's about what I love to do, boondocking, hiking, traveling, but it's also about recovery, alcohol recovery in my case. So I'm going to start doing some more videos on that journey that I'm going to go through. Try not to make it a self-pity party or, overly dramatic, but just what I'm going through, maybe here or there, and I'd like to bring in some people that have gone through it themselves. I've had many friends as a musician die from alcohol and drugs, or just alcohol. I've had many family members die of alcohol. My grandfather and two uncles on my mom's side literally died of alcohol. Either one of them died trying to get off, couldn't get off, and he went into tremors and died because he did it alone. My grandfather died of cirrhosis. My other uncle died of drug overdose and alcohol. So it's not a new topic in our family, but I just never, I don't know, I guess I just didn't commit to getting it done, getting it done. And it's kind of late, but it's never too late, right? So I'm going to bring in some friends, if they'll come in, that are addicts, that are clean and sober, or working through that, alcoholics, addicts, whatever, wherever we can talk about addiction, substance abuse, mental health issues, life, self-improvement, those kinds of things. I'm going to try to bring that more into what I'm going to be talking about. So if you see that happening, that's why. And if you need a reminder, if you're like, gosh, I wonder if I should drink again, just break your wrist. I wonder if I should, should I? No. Yeah. Now, of course, this can heal, and knowing the way alcohol works, this will heal. Things will get back to normal, and you'll forget. It lies to you. It'll tell you, it's not a big deal, right? So that's all part of the addict mind. I mean, there's a lot to that. I've gone through, just FYI, I've gone through counseling and other therapies and things for drinking, and I've read a lot of books on the topics that are involved with all that. And so I know a little bit about it from a layman's point of view, from a person going through it. it is a fascinating, terrible substance. You know, and even addiction of any kind, what it does to the brain and how it works. And it is really fascinating, but it's so damaging. It can be. You know, I'm addicted to coffee. I don't have any plans of stopping drinking coffee. I'm happily addicted. But that's different than being addicted to heroin, you know, or addicted to alcohol. Everybody, I think, almost everybody's addicted to something. So the brain relationship and why we get addicted and all that, I find that very fascinating. But the outcome to this for a lot of people is death, or, you know, broken bones, or lost work, or. So if you have any comments on that, if you have any comments going forward, or personal experiences you want to share, if you're somebody that's been through AA or currently trying to get sober or whatever, let me know. I'm not an expert, not a doctor, not a counselor, just somebody that's going through it on this end, have for many years, been around a lot of people that have. And I'll kind of want to just be a platform to share information about what I'm going through, and if it helps you, good. If you know somebody that can help, good. And of course, there's still going to be hiking. There's still going to be all the other good stuff, because I think it's related. We're one body, we're one human, right? And anytime you can get your emotional, psychological, spiritual, and I think it's a spiritual thing, self, if you can get that self healed and healthy, the more you can be healthy, you know, the less this other stuff can have a reason to grab you and hold on to you. I think it's a battle that doesn't ever end, apparently. But so the more you're proactive and can get those things plugged into your life, and I've done a lot of those things over the years, so I'm not feeling depressed, I'm not feeling lost, I'm feeling pissed off that I let this happen, and a little bit almost like surprised, like, wow, really? So just kind of a smack in the face, and I thought, man, now's a good time to answer those guys. Yes, I am in alcohol recovery, and I'm proud of that. And it doesn't mean I'm gonna succeed every day. I'm gonna try, and gonna put the things in place that I think will help me do that. If you have some suggestions, surely go ahead and share them with me. And thank you for hanging out. I know we got 150, 200 people that are followers of this channel, and I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully this stuff doesn't bore you. If it does, you know, wait for the next hiking video. So, and if in a year I can play, or 6 months or whatever, I'm gonna put some videos up of my playing. I'm gonna do more of that. Made me appreciate instantly music, because something I take for granted, I just do, you know, without thought. And now it's like, wow, you might not do that again. At least not on the level that, I mean, because playing guitar on that level is pretty, you know, very precise. It's very intricate. Little muscles you've trained for years and years. And if you just, like the doctor who isn't really a guitar physician, I said, man, you know, I really got, this is my guitar hand, you got me your guitar. And he's like, yeah, you'll probably be able to play okay. And I was like, no, I don't mean like jamming at a, you know, at a campfire. When you're talking to somebody that plays professionally and suddenly their hand is broken, they're worried. I mean, I've been worried all my life about getting just paper cuts. You know, what happens if you lose a finger? I mean, it's all part of the terrible nightmare of musicians. We worry about our hands, and here I broke it in half, you know, and there's a plate in there now. So he is supposedly a very good doctor. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully it'll all work out. We'll keep you updated on the channel here, and just thank you guys. Thank you for hanging in with Nomadic Recovery. And this is a kind of a low point for me right now. Life, you know, it happens. But hopefully I'll be able to get some more hiking stuff going on once I get healed up. So we'll see you next time. Nomadic Recovery. Nomadic Recovery. See you.